As part of our celebration for the 40th anniversary of Quincy Choral Society, we are interviewing some of the original members of the chorus. So today I'm here with Martha McMahon, who is one of those people, and she is also the longest serving president of the organization. So we're going to spend some time with her and have her tell us about her experiences with the chorus. So Martha, how long have you been with QCS and how did you hear about it?
Well, I've been with QCS since the very first rehearsal in September 1981. And I heard about it. Actually, my mother saw a little item in the Quincy Sun and that a new chorus was forming close by. And I had sung in college and enjoyed it. So I figured I'll go check it out. And that was almost 40 years ago.
Wow, that's so great. Do you have a favorite song that you've sung with the chorus?
I think it's hard to pick a song because so many of the things that we've done are meaningful. And in what I've thought too is some of the experiences that we've had, and particularly on trips, like singing the Ave Verum in the church where Mozart composed it and was the choir director and organist, singing it for the Memorial Day concert a couple of years ago down in Washington, D.C., and having veterans and their families in the audience. Things like that, experiences like that are really meaningful.
You mentioned the trips. How many trips have you been on? And can you tell us about maybe an unexpected adventure you may have had on one of them?
Well, I think I've been on 6 or 7 of the trips. I've kind of lost count. I do remember one time when we were in Edinburgh. We were singing as part of the Edinburgh Music Festival. And we were at the church and getting ready for the concert. And somebody said, "There's someone from the Patriot Ledger here who wants to talk to you." And it was one of those moments of, wait, we're in Edinburgh. How come the Patriot Ledger is here? And it turned out one of the publishers was in town in Edinburgh for the music festival and saw that the Quincy Choral Society was performing and came to our concert and wrote a very nice article about it in the Ledger, which was all about Quincy Choral Society, and then at the end said, and the Boston Symphony Orchestra performed as well.
Oh, that's great. I also have heard rumor that you may have had an experience with a medical facility on one of the trips?
Oh yes, in Italy I tripped over a badly marked step and ended up fracturing my elbow. And got the chance to go to a Italian emergency room, which I do not recommend.
Sounds like fun. I know it's hard to narrow down after 40 years, but can you talk about some of your favorite memories, maybe of rehearsals or of preparation, maybe something behind the scenes that a regular chorus member may not have experienced?
Okay. Well, while I'm thinking about the answer to that question, say another thing that's been really important to me about Quincy Choral Society is the friends I've made. And, there are people that I've known for 40 years, or close to 40 years, who are still good friends. Mm-hmm. Also, I got to know Nancy Nelson, who was one of the organizers of Quincy Choral, and she and I would take walking trips together in Europe. And people would always say, "How are you two related?" And we'd say, "We're not, we're just friends," because she was like my mother's age, or closer to my mother's age than mine. But we became good friends.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is, wow. Well, like I said in the introduction, you have served as president longer than anyone else.
Right.
So let's go back to that question you were thinking about before you talked about friends, which is a theme we get from everyone in the interviews. Is there anything that ever happened as president that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think, there's a lot that goes into putting on a concert and rehearsing and getting the space and arranging for a concert. And I think as someone who just comes and sings, you don't realize all the work that goes on behind the scenes by a lot of people who are volunteering their time.
Do you remember anything about that first rehearsal?
It was rainy. It was pouring rain, kind of like a couple of days ago. It was, and we joked afterwards that it was a dark and rainy night, for real. And but there were probably 100 people there. And the fellowship hall at East Conch Church where we rehearsed was packed.
Wow.
And say I ended up sitting between Nancy Nelson, who I mentioned, and Jean Brown, who was the wife of the director.
Oh, wow.
And, so I really got to know some of the key people in the group from the first night.
As part of your role as a member and also as president of the organization, you also performed in many of the concerts and many of the performances. Can you talk about, like, maybe your favorite song that you ever got to perform? And can you talk about, was there ever one that you were like, oh, that was a challenge?
I think the very first song I did was a challenge. It was a first solo. It was from the Christmas cantata, and I'm blanking on who wrote it, but a lot of people have done it, and it's very atonal. And one of my friends after the concert said she told her mother it's supposed to sound like that. So that was kind of challenging. I think some of the fun ones for me have been the ones we've done at our March concerts, where you get to kind of tell a story and act out at the same time. Certainly the Repent from On the 20th Century was fun, and I got to do that in the pulpit of a small church in England on one of our trips. I'd say my favorite has to be the Alto's Lament, and which I get to sing snatches of the alto parts of lots of different songs.
I don't think anybody will ever be able to sing the Alto's Lament as long as you are part of the group or part of the audience, probably. That is your signature song. Can you think, when you think back about all of the things you have done and the things you have contributed as a board member, as a president, as a member, is there something that makes you proud? You're like, I'm so glad I had the opportunity to do this.
Yes. The first few years of our existence, we went through several directors. And then finally we had John Nichols. But then I think, and that was great, and he was there for a long time. But the group was going through some real growing pains. And there were a few years where it felt like I was kind of shepherding it along and just saying, okay, we're at a point, we're growing, we're changing, we can get through this. And sort of being a cheerleader and a leader, as well as sort of helping to organize the group.
That's really cool. That's really cool. How have you seen, do you need to, we're outside and it's a little dry today. It's not one of the 90 degree humid days we've had, but it's warm.
Yes.
How have you seen the chorus change over the 40 years you've been part of the group?
Well, it's been wonderful to see how many people have been part of the group. I've never tried to figure out how many people have ever sung in the group, but it's got to be at least 1,000 people have sung either one season, one concert, or for decades. And so that's been fun, because there is people who've been there forever, and then other people who come in and add to the group. And then sometimes people leave because of changes in their life, or they're moving out of the area. But we've also had people who've left and then come back when they could, and that was good.
Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything else that you would like to share or tell us about with the chorus?
I'd say it's great fun. If people are looking for a chance to sing, this is the group to be in.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed.
Sure.
And thank you for all you've done for QCS.
And happy anniversary.